What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the 62nd episode of the podcast. Before we get into today's episode and today's special guest, make sure you go down, hit that subscribe button, like the video, and go check out our Instagram where we post highlight reels. But today's special guest is a family member. She's technically my aunt, and she's Gabby's best friend. It's none other than Lupe. How you doing, Lupe?
Hi, guys. How are you? I'm Lupe. I'm Gabby's best friend.
She's a little nervous, but it's going to be all right.
I mean, it was just like me on my first episode. You're like, introduce yourself. So I'm like, hi, I'm Gabby. And that was it.
That's literally all she said.
Yeah. I'm a little nervous. I'm sorry. Never been on a podcast before, so I'm really excited but really nervous at the same time. I kind of feel like on your guys' wedding day, when I was like going up to do my speech, my maid of honor speech, and I was like, I don't know what to do.
You're super nervous.
Yeah.
But do you want to give like a small introduction of yourself?
Yeah. So I've known Gabby literally pretty much all my life, and then Weddle also all my life. Gabby and I became best friends in kindergarten, which is crazy to think. And I don't know. I have a 1-year-old. His name is Romy, my sweet little boy. I don't know. What else? I don't know much about myself, I guess.
Okay, that's fine. I wanted to get into starting off some of the questions that you guys had for us, specifically because it kind of relates to your guys' relationship. And it's not really a question, but shout out Amelia for the comment. She said specifically, I hope... Hold it. Sorry, I can't see that far. I hope finds her Lupe someday. You girls' friendship is 100. So do you guys... How did you guys meet? Because I know you said you have been like super best friends for a long time, but how did this friendship start?
So we were in the same kindergarten class, and our families have just known each other for I don't know how long.
Yeah, like I guess they lived near each other in Chicago, and everybody lived in Chicago at one point, which is so weird to think about.
And I remember seeing you one day at church, and I remember like, oh, she's in my class, and like from then on, I just remember us being like super best friends. And it's just kind of like we grew like a sisterly bond rather than like a friendship bond. So because Gabby's an only child, my siblings and I are really far apart in age. My brother and I are 7 years apart. So I never really had like a sibling my age or close to my age to kind of like mess around with, hang around with, play with Barbies.
So like in a way you were kind of an only child too.
Yeah, in a way, yeah. And then my brother left for the army when I was 12, I believe, around 12 years old. So Gabby and I became sisters. We became sisters. Yeah.
Which is crazy also because we had so many fallouts in the process. It's like, they're like, we're not friends. We hate each other. Never going to speak to each other again. And here we are.
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of the process. Though.
Yeah.
Like the bestest of friends
Yes.
have those fights
Yes.
and still stay together.
Yeah.
There was this one fight I remember that your grandma and your mom and you came over to my house and you're like, and your grandma was like, you guys need to fix this. You guys are sisters. You guys are best friends. You guys have to be friends.
And it was just like
Dang,
the dumbest
really?
little thing. Like that was just, just that was causing the argument and fight. Because like, I'm pretty sure it was just me just being jealous that she had another friend. Because she'd always be talking to Hannah. I'm like, oh, she just hangs out with Hannah and blah, blah, blah. And so I'm like, I'm not her friend anymore. She can't be my friend. So that's it. And like, literally that was like the end of it or whatever.
The typical, you're not talking to me that much anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even like, I feel like we talk a lot, but then we don't. Just because like she's a full-time, you work full-time, you're a full-time mom. Like you have like your whole life here, and we live like an hour and such away. So it's like we still stay connected. And like,
but when we do talk, I feel like we talk for like maybe like a couple of days. And then like we'll like go like a week or whatever without talking, and then again we're sending each other like TikToks and videos.
Oh my gosh, I don't get the TikTok notifications, so whenever I log on to TikTok, I always have like 20 videos, and then I'll like first be sending them, and then I'm like, oh wait, I have like notifications, and I look, and it's usually all from Lupe, sometimes Mari, but I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm like. I'm like trying to respond to each one. Like,
I feel like that's me every time I open up our Instagram group chat. It's like a one-way street where you just send me a bunch of videos, that occasional video that I send her, and she's like, that's disgusting. And I'm like, okay, I'll never send you videos again.
Literally.
Yeah, but I kind of want to go back into what she mentioned about like you being full-time job, because I know like right now you're painting nails.
Yeah, so I'm a nail tech. I'm a licensed nail tech, but I don't have a whole lot of clientele. So I have a full-time job. I work for the community clinic here in Lafayette, and I work from home. They gave me a position to work from home because it wasn't working. Like my work schedule wasn't working out with like childcare with Romy, and I really didn't want to put him in daycare because he's still little and he can't really like, hey, we did this or they're doing this to me, both good and bad. So I was a little scared of putting him in childcare. So they gave me the position to work from home. So I'm working remote, which is amazing because I can be with my child all day. And Jacob, my partner, he's home with me most of the day because he works second shift. So he helps me whenever I get too busy with work and whatnot. Yeah.
Nice. Because I've always like imagined this like, oh, working from home. Is it really like working from home, or at some point, because you answer like calls and stuff, right?
Yeah, I work for the call center, so I make appointments. I transfer any phone calls if they need to be transferred. It's easy. That my job isn't too hard. We do have our busy days. Right now it's really busy just because feels like everybody is sick. So everybody's calling in, making appointments, wanting to speak with a nurse about medications, about what should I do for this and what can I take for this. But working from home, it's pretty nice. I like working from home, but it's hard to divide like, oh, I'm working and then time to relax.
Yeah.
It's really hard to find that separation sometimes.
So is there like a scheduled time that you have to work? Like you go in, you start at like 8 in the morning and you stop at like 5 or something?
Yeah, I work Monday through Friday, 8 to 5.
Okay.
And so I have my little work area over there in another room, in our spare bedroom, and I literally don't go in there unless I'm working. I don't like being in there unless I'm working because I so associate that room with work. And it's like, no. The rest of the house is like my time to relax.
Yeah, like that's work.
Yes, that's work. That's going in there, I clock in. Yeah. So
That's weird because ever since we have our like little podcast room, there's no negative feeling towards it, but like whenever I'm in there, I'm like, okay, I'm in the zone.
like focus,
I've gone in there before to do like editing for YouTube stuff and or like other people, and I'm like, I feel more focused there than I am in the living room, like with the TV in front of me. Because I know like when we're sitting there, like we're not really in a serious mode, but like we're in like a focus mode, like we're podcasting, talking and stuff. So I can relate to you in a way to where like that space like means a specific thing for you.
Yeah. I also have like my nail area in there. So sometimes when I'm doing my nails, like my own nails or my mom's nails, I also kind of associate that room with that. So it's because doing nails, it's also like a form of relaxation for me. So it's kind of like a mixed feeling with that room also. Because like, okay, my nail area, but then it's like my computer desk for work. It's
you just
like,
don't look at that area while you're doing
like
nails.
a curtain. Yeah.
I know some of the viewers asked some questions about the nails, like specifically, like why did you get into nails? Like why nails, I guess.
So doing nails I never really thought about doing it. In high school I had thought about doing like hair and whatnot, cosmetology, because I really liked the flexible schedule. And then graduating high school, I went to Ivy Tech, and I didn't really find what I really wanted to do. I liked nursing, but I couldn't pass anatomy.
Fucking dude.
Anatomy was a big struggle for me. So then I just stopped. I dropped out of Ivy Tech, and then I was just working at the hospital. And then I'm like, I really don't want to do this the rest of my life, like passing out trays, like meal trays. That's what I was doing. I really didn't want to do that. So then I started at SIA through CTI.
What's SIA?
So it's Subaru. I can't remember what it stands for, but it's a factory for Subaru that builds the Subarus. And it wasn't bad. I really liked that. Surprisingly, I really liked working at SIA at Subaru. I had like pretty much like a set schedule. I knew what I was going to do. I didn't have to deal with like customers or anything. I really liked that. But then I found out I was pregnant, and my partner and I were both like, let's not do this for you. Like, your safety and the baby safety is first. So then I thought about doing nails, right before I got pregnant. And I really liked that because I could set my own schedule. And then I found out I was pregnant. I was like, oh, this is perfect. Like I can set my own schedule. I can take clients when I want to, and then find some sort of childcare for my child whenever that works out. But I don't have a whole lot of clientele right now, so
I feel like it's kind of hard because, like, if you're not working, like, in a salon, it's like those clientele that you eventually build there will follow you. But it's like you're just literally starting from scratch. And, like, I want to build it from the ground up myself.
Yeah. And I'm a really shy person, so it's really hard for me to, like, put myself out there.
Yeah, and I feel like at this point, like, since you're doing it at your house, you're kind of, like, keen on, like, who you're inviting over to do the nails because you don't want, like, a random person to know where you live.
Exactly.
Do you, so, like, how, because then, so you were working at SIA, you got out, and then you started doing nails because then you got pregnant.
Yeah.
What was that, like, whole journey of doing nails? Because I know you're still doing it. How did that go?
It was, like, nail school, so, like, how I was being pregnant, school, and working.
It was really tough because Subaru, my area wasn't very tough, but it was still tiring. I would go in really early, and then I would go home, and then I would nap for like half an hour maybe, and then I would have class from, I believe it was like 5 p.m. or 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. And then I had to wake up again in the morning and go into work at 6, I believe was the time I would go in at Subaru. So it was really hard. It was really tiring. It wasn't hard. It was just really super tiring. Plus being pregnant, my body was just, it was just an overdrive. And that was for like 6 months. I did that for 6 months, I believe. So it was really tiring, but I mean, it was all worth it. Yeah.
Do you say you didn't have much clientele now? Do you think that's because, like, I don't know, because, like, it's getting cold out, or, like, how does that usually work?
So, I don't know. I'm not really good at putting myself out there, putting my work out there. Like, I'll take pictures and post them, but I'm really shy, and, like, I feel like my work isn't good enough compared to other nail techs, which I shouldn't compare myself. I know that. But it's still hard because I see the girls that I went to nail school with, and they do an amazing job, and I love their job. And it's like, oh, my work isn't that well. So, I feel like, I don't know, maybe, and I don't have a really good schedule to do nails because I can only do like one client after work if I get a client, and then on the weekends, and then sometimes not even on the weekends because then I have things going on. So it's really hard finding the balance between my full-time job and doing the nail tech and being a mom and taking care of my house and all that. Yeah, that's gotta be a lot.
Consider doing like a part-time, if that's allowed, like remote, because then you'd have more time at home and probably more days off in the week too. Yeah,
I was wanting to, but I'm not sure if my at the clinic that I work for, I'm not sure if they have a part-time position to do remote. I was thinking about asking, but that's definitely something that I was thinking about was finding a part-time job maybe and try and get more clients in to try and get better my work and get more clients.
Yeah, I think you should. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, because when we were younger, you'd always be drawing, so it's like this creative artistic thing it's always been you. So it's like I still even have all those things of like the names that with my name on it that you drew. I still have them all. I'm like, and so like when you're like, oh yeah, I've decided to do nail tech. I'm like, yep, that's it. Yep, that is what she should do.
Yeah, and I think like looking at like your classmates stuff or like the people you went to nail school with is good, but you should be like comparing yourself to like the past your past work.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, because if you like, because I mean, Pablo and I have a podcast. We compare ourselves to like Impulsive with Logan Paul. Logan Paul's super famous. There's no way like we can match him right now.
Yeah,
no, that's like a super extreme, but I think like just keep doing nails because like right now you do nails, but you also do like you do fingernails and toenails, right? Like what are your
So I do pedicures, but I've only been doing them like on like family members. I did them for Gaby for the wedding. It's not like a service that I'm currently offering because I don't have like a nice chair like at the salon.
Pedicures feet, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry. Sorry.
No, that was just for me because I didn't know.
He's like.
It's not a service that I currently offer like on my Instagram page, on my nail page. But it is something that I've been doing. Like, I don't do it on myself because it's hard on myself. But like, I did it for Gabby. I do it for my mom occasionally. I have my little like pedicure tub.
So it's
very
like,
relaxing.
Yeah.
The like thing you put your feet in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Are there like packages you offer, or is it just like, oh, you want to do your nails? It's gonna be like this set amount.
Yeah. So I do have my services like on my page, and I price them low just because I'm still not new because it's been over a year that I've been doing nails, but I don't have a whole lot of clients. So I'm like, okay, maybe I could reel them in with like my low prices, and it kind of works out a little bit. Yeah.
I mean, from the clientele that you have you got a lot of referrals? Like, from
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I've had a couple. Yeah, which is really nice. And it's like, okay, my work is getting out there.
Yes, that's what I think. Like when you have like your own business, is that word of mouth. Like it's the biggest thing, and like also putting yourself out there is like really hard. But it's like you have to break out of that bubble a little bit, and that's the hardest thing I think.
Yeah.
Especially being as shy as we were, like. Even though, like, I was always, like, the shyer one, like, and you were the loud one in school, people, like, didn't realize that you were still really shy. You just were, like, when you were, like, we were together, like, we weren't shy. So it's, like, I don't know. It's, like, I get what you're saying, because, like, doing this podcast, I'm, like, this is cool and all, but, like, putting myself out there, like, long term, no, that's not for me. And that's, like, I'm guessing how you feel, like, oh, I want to do this long term, I'm going to have to build up to that.
Yeah.
And, like, I guess... What would you suggest?
Yeah, because for me, I mean, in high school, I was super shy. All throughout, I mean, yeah, I've always been shy. Like, my whole family knows me as a shy person that when I go to family parties, I don't really talk to anybody. I'm just there by myself. And now I have a podcast. I have a YouTube channel. And I figured out that it wasn't really like the scenario that I was really shy with. I was really shy with thinking about what others thought of me.
Right.
Once I got over that hurdle of like, I don't really care what anybody thinks about me anymore.
Right.
I'm like, I am who I am now. Like I love doing podcasting. I love talking, and then like I talk to people who I think is gonna give me an interesting conversation. That might sound like dumb, but it's funny because we're all like very shy people, but we're all sitting down on a podcast talking together.
That's very true.
Yeah. But I feel like the podcast has definitely broken my shell that I needed to be the person that I want to be. And shaving my hair off. I think that really helped too.
I love your biggest thing. I love your shaved head.
See,
I love it.
it's funny because there's like, he's trying to escape.
Rubbish trying to escape.
Oh, you hear his claw marks.
He's not by himself. He's with his dad. FYI.
We locked
Don't call CPS, please.
I don't know what's going.
It's not about my bald head.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. I feel like there's like so many mixed feelings. Like your parents were like, "Why did you do it?" Like, I know your mom at first was like having a really hard time with it too.
Your grandma hates it.
My grandma's before the wedding, she's like, "Why doesn't he grow it out for the wedding?" I'm like, "Because he doesn't want to, and I don't want him to." I'm like, like his self-esteem was like, like it's always like a constant fear, like, oh, my hair is like not showing or it's very thin or so it's like shaving that help like his self-esteem. So I'm like, I don't want him to backtrack just to make everybody else feel okay when he doesn't feel okay.
And that's funny because you're talking about like my parents' reactions. When I shaved my head, I wasn't really like scared to see the reaction, because I feel like at the moment after I shaved my head, I'm like, you know what, from now on I'm not really gonna care what anybody thinks about me. So like, I mean, that sounds kind of cruel, but like to my parents, I'm like, I just want to see the reaction, because regardless or not of how they acted, there's no hair on my head anymore. Like that's how it's gonna be. So I really am glad that I shaved my head. Thank you.
You look better with your shaved head. I like it better.
I was so scared when they first shaved it that I wasn't gonna look like decent bald.
Right.
And when I saw myself in the mirror, I'm like, hey, I can kind of pull this off. I'm like, I don't look terrible.
I think it helps too that you can grow like a beard, which that's what your brother always says. Like you can grow a beard, and like I guess it'd be kind of interesting to see what it would look like full shaved at one point. But I don't know how ready. Because,
Yeah.
like, it's weird because sometimes, like, he'll go days without shaving, and then, like, I get used to that, like, version of him, and then he shaves, and I'm like...
Kind of like right
the
now,
heck?
I haven't really shaved in a bit, just because I've been sick and I haven't had time to. But it's funny because every time I get a clean shave, I'm like, I'm a new man.
Literally.
It's great.
And, like, a switch clicks, and it's like he's always had a shave, then it's like, he's like, you didn't say anything. I'm like, oh, it's just, like, natural now. It's not, like...
Because it wasn't really a big of a change when I first initially shaved it. Gabby was just like, oh, you've always had your head shaved.
Right.
I'm like, oh, it does feel like that now.
Yeah.
I feel like me now.
Yeah, it's just so completely different. Hair loss. You know?
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
And it runs in my family, unfortunately.
I mean, she's growing her hair back.
Yeah, I had hair loss when postpartum from having the baby, from having Rumi. I had like chunks of hair fall out in the shower. Like literally, I would have to like comb my hair in the shower just to get like all the hair out. And then there's like a ball of hair every single time I showered. Plus, when I would brush my hair just normally, it was so much hair.
How did that make you feel?
It made me feel old because I'm like, I'm losing my hair. Is it gonna grow back? But now I have like all this like baby hair. Like, and when I pull it back, you can like really see it. That's like baby. I got like all this baby hair. When I was losing it, and I would put my hair up in a ponytail, like to do like just stuff around the house, you could see like my entradas like right here. It was so bad. I was like, oh, look at it.
Because how long was it not there? Were you like bald on that stuff? Because was it like growing back as stubble, or was it just
yeah? So it was like little by little. It would
Okay.
grow back. So now it's a little bit longer. But for the wedding, when the hairstylist was doing my hair, she's like, "Oh, you have a lot of baby hair." I was like, "Yeah." I'm like postpartum, and she's like, "Oh, yeah."
Damn, it's gotta be tough.
Yeah, it was tough.
Especially for like girls, because I mean, the majority of the girls have long hair.
Yeah, because for a while I was losing a lot of hair too, and I'm like, what's going on? Like all these things. I mean, got some blood work done and had big change in your diet. Who knew diet had a big like effect on your hair?
Yeah.
Who knew, right?
Not me for sure. I was like, whatever. But it's like, just even like a small change in our diet has like improved it tremendously for me. So it's like, it's crazy, like the little things, because you feel so self-conscious. You're like, if I pull my hair back the wrong way, it's like I get spots, and then you're like,
that's how I felt.
and I'm like, this is how Widow felt. And my family like noticed it too eventually. They're like, your hair's so thin. Like, not that I had like thick hair before, but it was like more full, I guess. And like, I was just like, this is not it. So I was like, gotta really change things like overall, because in preventative care, like, let's not pile these things on.
Yeah, I definitely grew up in a childhood space that was like more of like rubbing off like the issues that were going on.
Right.
So if you guys are having health issues, like check them out. Eat your veggies. Eat your veggies. I never ate my veggies. My immune system is shit now. Like just look out for yourself. Stay healthy, and you'll feel better and look better if you want to look better. But I want to thank you for letting us do this podcast in your house, because you guys can tell this isn't our normal setup. Your house is beautiful, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's very homey, cozy, and I love the colors that I know you had like an orange wall, right?
So this wall was like Barney purple.
Oh, really?
Yes, it was all this entire wall, including the front door. We completely replaced the front door and the back door.
So you guys saw the vision.
Yes.
If I would have walked down the back, now let's go.
Yeah, so this is all Barney purple. The bathroom was orange, I believe. My work area, that room was like a sky blue. That one wasn't too bad. And then the kitchen was like a burnt orange, red type, like burgundy color. Yeah, it was just...
So you guys got a lot of work done, huh?
Yeah.
How was that process? Like buying a house?
So nerve-wracking. Super nerve-wracking. We were looking at houses for like a month, maybe a month and a half. And I was getting close to my due date. And it was just
So this was all during...
When I was pregnant. Yeah, I was pregnant. It was so super nerve-wracking because I wanted a house before I gave birth. I'm like, I want to bring my baby home, to his house where he's going to live. Not... Because my parents told me that I could stay at their house for as long as I needed, which excuse me, I'm sorry. I greatly appreciated my parents for offering me to stay there, me and Jacob to stay there. But I really wanted my own home, a place to call my home, because I know babies take up a lot of space. So I really wanted like his own space to crawl around and whatnot. So looking for a house while pregnant was really nerve wracking, especially because it was close to getting closer to my due date.
Mm-hmm.
We closed a month before my due date. And plus we didn't move in right away because we were fixing the house up. We ripped up all the carpet.
Oh, that's right, because there was carpets in there.
They had a dog here before. I think the previous owners had a dog, and in Romy's bedroom, it just smelled like dog urine. So Jacob and my dad tore up all the carpet. I think they actually mopped, because it's slab, so it's all cement. There's no crawl space. So I think my dad even mopped the cement with bleach just to take the urine out, because it still smelled like dog urine, just the cement. And we put like sticky tile, peel and stick, I think that's what it's called. And we painted the house. It's not everything that we wanted to do to it, but it's just to make it a little bit better, to make us feel more comfortable. And I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
I really like it, and I like that little splash thing that you got for the door.
Thank you.
That wasn't there to begin with?
Because it's just clear. So I ordered that on Amazon, actually. Just like a little film. Because there's no light, like natural light in the living room, and that's what I love, the natural light. So I wanted at least a little bit of a window, but I didn't want people looking through it. And I didn't want to add a curtain to it just because it's going to take light from it, I think, in my opinion. So I just added like a little film to it.
Yeah, it's very homey. I'm very jealous.
Thank you.
Because, I mean, we've only ever lived in apartments. The apartment we're in now has felt more like home than any other one, just because it's a little more kept up. The apartment crew is more cleanly, wary about, like, the apartment's being clean, and like it's just nice. It looks nice, it feels nice, and it actually feels like home. But I can't wait till we have our own house.
It's such an amazing feeling when you close on your house. When I did it, I was super nervous. I'm like, what did I get myself into? I'm like, this isn't just like a $5,000 debt. Like this is like over $100,000. Like this is scary. What am I doing?
Right.
Like I'm barely 23. I was 23 at the time. I'm like, what am I doing? I'm too young for this. But it's honestly the best feeling ever. So when you guys get to experience that, you guys are gonna love it.
Do you have any newbie house buyer advice for us?
Take your time to find the right house. Don't get overwhelmed if you don't get an offer accepted. We put so many offers in on houses. I think this was our 7th offer on a house.
Okay.
And we finally got it. Everybody would just beat us to it. I think there was one house that the offer that beat us was less amount, but it was all cash. Apparently, something like that. I'm not entirely sure.
And what's crazy is like you always have to put more than the asking price. So it's like that's something I never really thought about. And it's like, oh, I put 20 more on than it was asking. I'm like, that's crazy, especially with the market right now. I'm like, I don't know.
It's crazy, yeah. And definitely take your time with looking for a house. Wait until it's the buyer's market instead of the seller's market. Because when we were looking, it was the seller's market, so houses were super expensive and they were going super fast. But
when is the time for buyer's market?
I'm not entirely sure.
Okay. I'll have to Google it.
Yeah. Because then the houses would be a little bit cheaper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my ideal house, I want like a 2-story house. Specifically, 1 room, hopefully the size of this, or like a little bit smaller for the podcast.
Yeah.
That would honestly be great. Like, just walk in, all the podcasts is set up and everything. We kind of have that now, but like a bigger room.
Yeah, because with the futon in there, it kind of makes it look super small in there.
Yeah.
I think
I'm still trying to.
chairs.
I'm still trying to figure out how it's gonna be with a guest. Because with us two, I don't know. I mean, you guys seen the latest episodes. With us two, it's just sitting on the couch looking at each other.
Yeah.
But like if we add a guest in the middle of that, we're gonna be like this.
Right.
And that'd just be awkward, especially if it's our first time meeting the guest, and we've had situations to where we've had guests on.
Just cuddle on the couch.
Yeah, no, what's up, man? How you doing?
If worst comes to worst, you throw the futon out and you put the bench in a chair in there, or 2-3 chairs.
I think that's what we're gonna do up until maybe we get
we got IKEA right there, up the road.
IKEA is right there. But that's something Pablo and I are gonna go shopping for. We're gonna be like, okay, we want this table. It's gonna be fun.
Well, also, I mean, that'll be your desk chair, so it's like more so you should have the say, because that's gonna be your working office as well.
Not sure anything about it. I mean, I wouldn't as long as I have like a designated spot to work on
Mm-hmm.
and a nice chair,
Right.
I'm okay with. Like as long as it's like a flat like table,
Mm-hmm.
I'd be cool with it.
Would you guys ever think about building your own house?
Yes.
Because that's my dream.
We've
Yes.
thought about it a lot.
Yeah.
But like we don't know
what
like
we're doing. We're moving back to West Lafayette,
Yeah.
and we're going to
Whoa,
build
what are you
houses
talking
next
about?
to each other.
We already have this plan. We already have this plan.
Jacob's on board.
Yeah, Jacob's on board.
So it's,
Yeah,
Romy's
yeah.
on board too. So it's 4 against 1.
As long as it's West Lafayette.
Yeah.
Because Lafayette, I don't know about that one.
I mean, that's where you originally want to move, right? Like
Actually, we were looking, like after this house, yeah, we were thinking about maybe going to West Lafayette just because it's a little bit nicer over there.
Yeah.
It's not, the crime, I believe, is lower over there. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, maybe we'll build in West Lafayette. That's my dream. My ultimate dream is to build my own house to my liking in the future.
Yeah.
That kind of brings me into another question that I had for you. So obviously Gabby and I moved out to Indy together and like started our lives over there. And you obviously stayed here in Lafayette. How's that been? And do you feel like you would have done things differently in your life if you were to move out to if you were have to move out to a different city?
Or was that in the plan? Like I'm gonna leave for a couple years and then come back.
I feel like Jacob and I, we did talk about just thinking about like moving a little bit out of town, like maybe somewhere between like Lafayette and Indy, just like a little bit outside. But we both talked about it even deeper, and I personally don't think I would be able to move out of Lafayette just because I have literally my entire family here, my sister, my brother, my niece, my nephews. Now my great nephew is here. I don't think I'd be able to leave Lafayette. I feel like it would be nice to maybe explore one day when like all the kids are older. But I feel like I couldn't anytime soon because I feel like I would miss too much. I mean, my older nephews they're graduated, but there's graduation in a couple years, and then my niece, yeah.
I can to piggyback on that. The missing things, you do miss things because like I went away and I came like every time I come back I'm still like shocked to see how big like all my cousins are. I'm like, literally you were like just a baby when I left. Like Christian, I think when I moved into my dorm he was like a year old, and now he's like, sorry, we'll bleep his name out. And now he's like 7 or 8. Can't remember exactly, and I'm like literally where'd the time go?
Yeah.
So like you do miss that, but also at the same time I wouldn't have changed anything, just because like even like Amelia has said, like it's really good like being apart from your family, just even like the slightest bit, because like your bond with your partners just grows like stronger. Like for me, like my family was my biggest, like I guess like my crutch in a way, because like like I go for them, like they're my family, of course I'm gonna go to them, but now it's like I have a husband too, and it's like he's my crutch, he's the one I go to first and not my family. And like even before like we got married, that was how it was. Like I started to go to him more and not so much like my family, and it's just like a big change in your relationship. Because I never thought I could move away from my family like long term. Because like every summer I'd be right back here, and I'm like, and like after a while I'm like, okay.
When you got your own place for the first time with your roommates, you were in Lafayette like every weekend.
Well, that was also attributed to seeing you, because like everybody was here.
ISU.
Well, still, yeah, like my family was here, and like either you were here or I was at ISU. Like I was never like there, because I always like I was alone. So I was like, I don't want to be alone. So like I'd always be in Lafayette or with you at ISU.
Yeah, that's crazy because I love my family, but as soon as I got that taste of being alone and like 2 hours away from my family when I lived in Terre Haute at ISU, I'm like, this is fucking amazing. I can do whatever I want.
Even like sometimes like when we plan to hang out, you're like, I gotta work.
I gotta work.
It's like, and there was this one, I think I spent like literally like a week there. I don't know if I just didn't have class, but I like moved in for a week, and I was like, because I didn't want to be in Indy by myself. I also didn't want to go to Lafayette, because then they'd be like, why you not in class?
I think it might have been one of maybe like a spring break where they didn't close down the campuses, and I was just like, just come over. Like, I'm not gonna be in Lafayette.
Like what are they called?
Roommates.
No. The people that are RAs. I was like, did you move in? I'm like, no.
I mean, he was cool with it.
Yeah.
Technically, you weren't supposed to be there, but he was cool with it. Yeah, but I think if you guys want to move out and get away from your parents, I see no issue with it. Yeah. Like specifically, like for the viewers, like I don't see why not, unless like you can't hold yourself up, like you can't work, and because you have to work obviously if you're not living with your parents, you have to work for rent and stuff. Like if you can at least do that and you want to move out, I don't see why not.
But then the biggest thing too is that you have your family so close, so you have childcare.
Yeah, that's the big thing for me right now is childcare. Yeah, I like 5 minutes from my parents, so it's super easy. Like if I have to like do a couple errands, if I don't want to take Romy with me, I'm like, hey, can you like watch him for like half an hour so I can go like to Walmart and get some groceries? It's really nice having my parents really close.
Yeah,
there's like so many pros and cons because we've talked about it before, even on the podcast, and like childcare. If we were to have a kid over in Indy, like
I see how much our friends are struggling right now, and like because they're full-time students, working part-time, full-time, like, and they have a child, and she's older and going to school, so like during the day, like she's gone, but like sometimes it's like who's gonna pick her up? Right. So it's like, do they miss class? Do like it's like all those things too, and like I can see it, like even like maybe even Pablo and Karen, like I don't know what their plan is, like I could see like a little bit, I saw like the little bit of stress in them, and I'm like, but then it's like if we leave, then they lose us. So it's like I love the community that we built with all of our friends there too. But it's like I want like our kids to like grow up together because they're gonna be best friends, and they have to be. And then,
but like you mentioned, like if we leave, Pablo and Karen wouldn't have us. I feel like that shouldn't be like something.
No, I know, but
us from leaving.
I just, the person that I am, like I'm like I don't want to be that person that like they can't depend on, you know, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you're always scared to tell people how you feel. Because like earlier, one of my friends that she worked for has her shaker like blender, and it's like $50, and he like lost it. She's like, I'm like, ask for the money.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, like I feel bad. I'm like, you feel bad for what? You feel bad that he lost your shaker or like your blender? And I'm like, ask him for the money. It's yours.
It's like, yeah, but it's like I let him borrow it so long ago, so he's probably felt like, why now that you want it? It's like, well, I'm starting to make more things, and I don't like using my big blender.
But it shouldn't matter why you want it. It's yours.
It's like, yeah. I know, but it's like
he should be the one embarrassed. You lost it. Not Gaby over here.
I'm just so
scared. But that's me. That's me though.
I'm gonna call hey man, you owe us $50. Like, we gotta go get a new blender.
It's like right now it's on sale, so it's like, do I give him the sale price that's on sale, or do I give him like
the full price?
The price you paid for.
Yes.
Whoever bought you the gift.
It was a gift, so that's why I even feel like more like I want that back. But yeah.
Say it has sentimental value.
If you're watching, I need it back, sorry. And if you already paid me back, thank you.
I want to move on to another question that one of the viewers asked, and it's Vic. Shout out Vic. The question is, what is your best and worst memory of CCD on Sundays?
Oh, best and worst?
Yeah, and so CCD is like
it's like Bible
let's
classes.
just call it church school that you go every
like
Sunday.
Sunday school.
Yeah.
Sunday school.
I don't know. Best and worst. I think the best was probably just like being with everybody, because once I moved from Earhart to Central Catholic to private school, I like didn't see like the cousins, like Victor. I didn't see Victor or Vic. Sorry. I didn't see like.
Is this government name?
Sorry. I didn't see any of them anymore because it would be you, him, and I like at school all the time at recess. So like it was nice seeing him and Gaby And did you go to St.
I went
Monica's?
Mondays.
You went Mondays, okay, so not you. But like my cousins too. Like I would have like some of my cousins in my class, so it was really nice seeing them. But the worst, I don't know, maybe like actually going.
Probably like the homework.
The homework and the book that they had.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that was so annoying.
Yeah.
I don't know what I mean, eventually I ended up doing it, but
You had
I
to.
think
You
that
had
started
to.
my procrastination.
Mhm.
I would do it like
Probably on the way.
during church, like before we went, or like if we were to church, like on the way or the night before.
Yeah. I mean, I don't remember really being in it. I just remember more like being like an assistant because like, that's eventually what I started doing, like assisting like mom's classes and into other people's classes, and I really enjoyed that aspect of it. But then I saw like all the kids hate it, like so I'm like, how can I make this fun without them feeling like, you know, like your faith is fun, like how can I make it fun? It's like trying to find those different things so that they didn't dread coming each time.
Right.
Because you know every single kid in there was dreading being there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Every kid in there
Me
was
included.
forced by their parents to be there.
Yes. It's like, I know you're forced to be here, but let's try and make it as fun as we can.
I always found it very weird. I don't know.
Weird how.
I don't know. It felt like school. I mean, it was obviously like kind of like Sunday school, but I don't know. I think I enjoyed CCD the most whenever like it was like the last day because they had like pizza parties.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Or whenever I think at one point we watched a movie or something, but those were my favorite days. Because most of the time I would sit there and kind of zone out, unfortunately. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
great for me. Okay, I've got let's see. I think one more. So this is from Pablo. Shout out Pablo, co-host of the podcast. Funniest and most stressful moment you've had with Rome.
With Romy,
Yeah.
probably the most stressful was when he was hospitalized last year, when he was really sick. It was super nerve-wracking. So he had a UTI. I don't know how a little boy gets a UTI, but it was super scary. He had a fever, and he was about a month old, I think. It was actually around this time last year, and he had a fever. Couldn't give him a lot of Tylenol because he's little, so they can't take a lot of medicine. Even now, he can't take a lot of medicine, just Tylenol. So it was super scary being in that, especially because it was around the time my grandmother passed away too. So I had like on top of that, like that stress also. And then what was the other part to that question?
So like the funniest moment.
Funniest moment? Probably like, so he didn't really crawl at first. Now he crawls, but he would like army crawl everywhere, just army crawl. And he would get super fast at it. And then like all you would hear like his hands smacking on the floor. It was so cute. Aww.
That's funny. I can't wait for Pablo's baby.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna name her. I'll let him name her on the podcast. But I can't wait till she starts like crawling,
Yeah.
like walking around. Oh, that's gonna be so nice. Do you have any like advice for Pablo? Karen?
Take all the pictures and all the videos you can, because even if it takes up all your storage in your phone, they grow so fast. And I know you probably hear that every day, but it literally does. They grow so fast. And like, I miss Romy like doing all those little things that he used to do. Like I love that he crawls now and he's starting to stand on like by himself now. But it's like I miss when he would just kind of like just sit there like a potato.
Like just eat a little newborn.
Yeah, just like his little newborn scrunch. Like I miss all that, and like, it goes so fast. It literally feels like in the blink of an eye, just like a whole year went by.
I feel like Romy's changed a lot though too.
Yeah, he
like,
has.
When he was younger, I think he did look. I thought he was your twin, but he still looked like Jacob.
Mm-hmm.
But even more so now, he's definitely just your child. Like it's like Jacob's like, I'm here, but
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
his nose, he's like, I got it there.
Yeah. We had done a 3D scan when I was about, I think, 30 weeks pregnant, and the first thing I saw was Jacob's nose. I was like, that's Jacob's nose. Like, no doubt about it. Yeah.
And this kind of is kind of the same question, but like as far as like moments with Romy, what have been your best/worst parts of like becoming a mom?
Becoming a mom. Worst and best. I don't know, I think worse would probably just be doubting myself, like my ability to be a mom. Not really like knowing what to do. Because when he was sick last year, it's kind of like, what do I do? Like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
So I'd call my mom, like, what else do I do? It's just like, okay, she'll give me her advice, or then I'd call his doctor, and they'll tell me what to do. So I just kind of felt kind of useless, kind of. And then
I feel like that's kind of, it puts you in a like really scary situation.
Yeah.
Because in your mind, you're like, I'm literally your mom, but like it's my first time. I don't know.
Literally, yeah. And then they can't tell you what's wrong. Like they can't like, oh, my tummy hurts, or I feel warm.
Yeah.
Like you literally just have to guess.
Yeah.
You have to guess of what's going on. Like, okay, take their temperature. Is it a fever? Maybe not. Like, and then how much do I give them? Especially when they're so little, you can't really give them anything. So it's
Is it the temperatures for like kids lower? Or is it the same? Like,
so depending on how old they are. So when Romy was hospitalized last year, I think his fever was like 101 something, point something, and they're like, take him to the ER, because I had made him a doctor's appointment, and the nurse called me back and was like, what's his temperature? And I was like, this, and she's like, take him to the ER. I'm like, okay. So we took him to the ER. He ended up getting hospitalized because of his temperature. They did a spinal tap on him, being a month. I think it was like a month and a half old. And they did a spinal tap on him in the ER, and they couldn't get any spinal fluid. So then they waited a little bit, did another spinal tap on him, still couldn't get any spinal fluid. So they just ruled it as like a UTI because they found like infection or whatever, bacteria in his urine. So they gave him antibiotics, and it was super scary.
Dang.
Yeah.
Now, what's been like your best moment of becoming a mom?
Best moment?
I'm sure there's a lot.
There is a lot. Probably just like him being alive. Just literally just waking up every day, seeing his smile. Even if he's like in a bad mood, I think just being his mom is the best thing, honestly. Like, I just love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I can't picture my life any other way. Yeah. I love being a mom. I love him. I love everything about it. Yeah.
And it's like, you've been a mom for like a little over a year now, but it's like you've always been a mom.
Yes.
It just seems like there's no life without Romy.
Yeah. My mom was always like, can you picture your life without him? I'm like, no. She's just like, how did you live your life without him before? And I'm like, I have no clue.
Yeah.
I'm like, I literally don't know.
Because it's like, whenever like we're talking, I'm always like, not like hinting for stuff for Romy, but then you always just send me like videos and I'm like,
Yeah, we'll be laying down, and as soon as like she nudges over me and I like look over, she showed me a video of Romy. Like it's like a little like scene that we have. We just look over and just look at the video of Romy. It's so cute.
My sweet baby.
It's like our proud, like, oh, look at him.
Yeah, and he's grown so fast. It's so crazy.
Yeah, well, I think that's all of the questions that we had. Thank you, everybody, for asking them. Really appreciate everybody who participates in these. Before we end the episode, do you have any questions for us?
I do. I have them on my phone, so I wouldn't forget. I just have two. It's not a lot. It's just two.
She was prepared.
Anyways, thank you very much. Okay, what's your favorite thing about being married now?
Oh, this is hard.
I can answer first. Unless you were gonna go first.
No, go ahead.
Okay. I like now. Wow, that sounded so stupid. I like now. I love that we can call ourselves a family now, like officially. And I love calling you my wife. You're like, oh, that's my wife. I love wearing my ring because it shows that I'm married. And yeah, I think that's my answer.
Yeah, because it's like I was like, wow, we hit 6 months last month, and we're coming up on 7 months, and I'm like, where's time gone?
Yeah.
Like, I think I mentioned it before. It's like this whole year, like, it's been like the best and worst because we've gone through so much. I guess like I didn't realize like it would really change things, but it's like we've had a lot of ups and downs already, and I'm like, it's only been like 7 months. Like, it's crazy. And it's just, I don't know, just being married in general, just it's like the best thing.
Yeah.
Like you said, just being like a family. Like, it kind of felt like we knew we're like doing, like we weren't in the right for like being together, like living together, like, and like all that stuff. So it's like now that like we're married, it's like it just made like things easier, I guess. Like, like emotionally for myself, like it just like, okay, like we're good. Like, I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. Next question. I feel like I'm in school. Next question. What's the most important thing you've learned in your life?
Oh shit. What's the most important thing I've learned in my life? Mine's gonna sound very repetitive from a bunch of shit that I said in the past. Do you have your answer yet? Or I can go first.
I mean, I guess the biggest thing, like, it's the most important thing is just like putting yourself first. That's the most important thing. For me, that's not the easiest thing, just because I'm such a people pleaser.
Yeah.
And that's just my natural, like, state. It's just always been who I was. So it's like sometimes saying no and like it hurts, but it's like I'm doing it for myself.
Yes.
So just like that's the most important thing is just putting yourself first over, not of course like there's to a certain extent, but like knowing when to draw that line.
When to put your boundaries up.
Yeah. I mine kind of correlates with that because mine would say or would be that like just do what you want to do. I literally say this, I feel like almost every podcast. But the biggest thing I've learned is that at the end of the day, not as many people that you think are watching you actually like care. Like not as far as like views and like all this, but like let's say like you go into the gym, you're like, oh, all these people are like, all their eyes are on me, like, dude, that person doesn't even know you exist.
Yeah.
Like you are worried about all of this stuff that's not really going on, that's just going on in your head. Like it's not, at the end of the day, no one really cares about you as much as you're gonna be caring about yourself. So like just worry about yourself, don't worry about what anybody like really says to an extent. Obviously advice is good, take good advice, don't go off doing bad things. But like at the end of the day, it's your life, you're living your life, and then if there's somebody that doesn't agree with it, that's unfortunate for them. Like just you keep doing what makes you happy.
Yeah.
And I've lost some friends because of that, but I don't care.
That's okay.
Yeah.
What would you say?
Probably along the same lines. Like I've always been the person to like you said, please other people. Becoming a mom really opened up my eyes the hard way probably. I would say that's probably the hard way. Losing friends, becoming a mom. Yeah, it was really hard like becoming a mom, and it was just I don't know. Yeah. I've always been into trying to please other people, like you said, and
bending over backwards.
Yes.
Repetitively.
Yes.
That's something that I've had to like talk to you about. I'm like these people, like, don't bend over backwards for like people who wouldn't do the same for you.
Exactly. I learned that the hard way. Yeah. But
then they learn and then they realize it and then it's like,
Yeah, and that, like, cause even like when you're married and stuff, or like in a relationship, I feel like you should always put yourself first too, but also in consideration of your spouse. Yeah. But because at the end of the day, if you can't love yourself, how are you really supposed to like love your spouse?
Exactly.
So yeah, it's got pretty deep, but
that's okay. That's okay. I love deep conversations.
Yeah. Well. Thank you guys for watching. Lupe, thank you again for letting us record in your beautiful house.
Thank you for having me. I was really nervous.
Yeah, how do you feel now?
I feel better now. I'm still kind of nervous.
Still kind of nervous?
I feel like I repeated myself a lot. That's okay.
Just watch back and see how many times you said like, and you're going to get so
Oh my god. Like is my worst thing. I always say it.
I do it all the time.
I always say it.
This is the 62nd episode I've been in, and I do it all the time.
And also, I always say, that was like my biggest thing in school too when we were doing speeches. I'd be like, like.
See, you wanna know how I fix that? I just stop talking. I just pause. That's why every time I'm talking in the sentence, you hear me like pause, and you're like, is he gonna talk? I'm like, no, I'm just not saying like or I try to at least.
Yeah, I called you guys out like you and Pablo. You guys said like 3 times. Like.
Yeah, ever since you said that, I'm like, Shit, I said it again. Well, yeah, thank you, Lupe, for coming on to the
Thank you for
podcast.
having me.
Hopefully, we can get you on soon again. And thank you guys for watching. Go down before you click out. Go down, hit that subscribe button.
And
like
follow
the
her nail
video.
page.
Follow her nail page. It'll be down in the description, her Instagram page. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.